You look great.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys. We got a guest here.
We have a guest here, Rich Luthmann. Hello, Rich.
Hello, hello, hello.
Anyways, you guys are probably wondering why little Mikey is wearing sunglasses.
You told me to wear them. I'm just, what's the excuse we're supposed to give? The Staten Island boy we have next to us. You know, I got my blue shirt, my chain out, my sunglasses. I guess if you're from Staten Island, you would only know, I guess.
Yes.
You look good, man. You look good. You look like Tony Menino. You're like a Saturday Night Fever over there. It looks good.
Why don't you take those sunglasses off? Oh, come on.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, my God. I'm going to get in trouble.
Okay, guys. You ready?
Here we go. I beat him up.
Black eyes.
He has black eyes. Black eyes. Yes. As you guys all heard, I'm being accused because Mikey had sinus infection or whatever was going on. He had darkness under his eyes. He's Greek. That's totally normal. And the HALES people were now claiming that I beat Mikey up. Right?
Well, you put on my makeup here, the black stuff. You did that.
Yes. But anyways,
I don't
guys.
see any chats. Can you?
Oh yeah, yes, we can see the chats. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, hey Pebs, hey Lori, hey Bearded, Little Bit, John Cook, Tammy. Hey everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. We're excited tonight because we brought Rich Luthmann on, and he's just the funniest guy I think we know. Right, Michael? Right, Michael? Right. I know they always make fun of me. Megan says she's going to drink every time I say right, Michael. So they're going to be drunk because I say it a lot, right?
Get them drunk. Right, Michael?
Yeah. Before we get into Rich's latest filing, which I think you guys will really enjoy, I just want to play something that just totally made me laugh because I couldn't help but notice that I have a fan out there who wants to dress like I do, wear the wigs that I do, wear the face tape that I do, and let's all give applause for Jeremy Germ. Well, ain't that cute? I do have a fan out there. He wants to look like me and dress like me. What do you guys have to say about that?
It looks, you know, that was a nice picture. It really was. That was probably the best that Germ looked in a long time.
He did the face tape last Sunday, Rich. I don't know if you know that, but he was sporting some face tape. And, you know, we've all seen him in the wigs before. So what do you guys have to say about that?
He just needs bigger lips.
Yeah, he just needs bigger lips so he can have the vivacious lips that I do. Anyways, Rich, can you show some of your backdrops? Because these are just freaking hilarious.
That's one of my favorites right there. That's one of my favorites that there is.
That backdrop kills me. Oh my God.
This is Germ and a secret Muslim named Martha.
Those are Arabian, right? That's like an Arabian sheik.
I don't know what they are. Secret Muslims. I know nothing about the crazy secret Muslims. That's Jeremy Hale's material. He's a secret Muslim. That's what I'd say. Just like Barack Hussein Obama, he's a secret Muslim. And he's one of these people that needs
like secret spy or something. You know?
Something like that. Yeah, well, that's what he has. He has all the rugs around his house. That's what it's for. It's for him to go and pray all the time because that's what he does, I guess. He needs to pray. When he's robbing people blind, he's got to pray as much as he can, I guess, right?
Didn't you find another person that was robbing people online?
Oh my God, yes, Rich, I sent you that picture. There's another guy, and I swear to God, he's Jeremy's lookalike. And we found out that he was doing some scamming online and suing everybody. His name is Moneyberg. But it was so funny because I had a chance to speak to some of the people one of the people that he sued who actually beat him. There's Moneyberg right there.
Moneyberg.
Yeah, don't they look alike? It's so
Jernberg and Moneyberg. Jernberg.
And he just lost his case.
He just lost his case. He was suing a bunch of YouTubers, the same thing that Jeremy's doing. And I had a chance to talk to one of the defendants who just beat him by the name of Spencer Cornelia, who really, like, he has an amazing channel. And it was so funny because when I looked this guy up and I put his picture next to Jeremy, I was like, oh my God, they look like they could be brothers. Right?
Yeah, it's the same MO these two.
He's getting his attorney fees back. So, you know, he's fighting for attorney fees to get back.
Exactly, because he said Moneyberg kept him in court for like 5 years, but he ended up beating him. So
that's what they do. That's what they do.
That was the same stuff. I mean, he covered the story. Kind of like, wait a minute, did you just cover a story?
All I did was cover a story, and
Lisa just covered a story, and Luthmann just covered a story, and
they don't want
just covered a story.
Just covered a story, and
what did he say? This is worse than his case.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. This Jeremy is worse than Moneyberg. Worse than Moneyberg. He's suing more people than Moneyberg sued. And Moneyberg
he's got over 20 separate defendants that he's suing right now across his cases. And it could be close to 25 at this point, with all the litigiousness that he does. And he doesn't stop. And nobody's put a stop to him yet. The big problem isn't Jeremy. Jeremy's a problem, but the bigger problem is Randy Schock and his lawyer. The lawyer enables him. And when you have a system, what is a lawyer? The lawyer is the officer of the court, right? They should be a gatekeeper to, frivolous actions. And this guy hasn't been frivolous. He hasn't been controlling the frivolous actions. Jeremy's been entirely frivolous, and Schock and Soto's been filing all the papers. So the time is coming for them to get taken out pretty soon.
Show a picture of Schockett's girlfriend.
Oh, that one. That woman is hideous. Oh my God.
Somebody said that she looks like Steve Tyler or something. Tyler.
Yeah, Steven Tyler. Look at this one.
Steve Tyler. She looks like a drag queen.
This
is Schockett's girlfriend. But yeah.
Doreen Turner
Kitty Mama
Inglis.
Kim. Hey, Kitty Mama Kim, Monica Lee. But yeah, so that's Schockett's woman. Didn't he leave his wife for her or something?
He left his wife. He left his kids he's strained his relationship with several of his children. He basically abandoned the wife. I don't know what and she has a very sordid history too. She comes from down in like the Boca Raton area, like the Palm Beach County area, where she was an attorney for a lot of years, and she was married to a doctor that went to prison for being, on prescription meds and other stuff. Then the question becomes, if you look at Randy Schock from before, Randy Schock was like, doesn't look like he looks now. He looks like he's like got himself shot up with like testosterone and all sorts of other stuff now, like to lose weight, and he's like, but the question of prescription drug use is on the table too, because that's what happened with her ex husbands, and so that guy was down in like Palm Beach County, and everything went to like they crashed on. Everything went to crap. He went to jail. Well, she moved up to Schock with Schock, and then she works out of his law office now as of counsel to him. And it just, it's crazy. I'll put up a picture of Schock from before. Actually, this is a crazy picture. You'll see. This is how Randy Schock looked before. Let's see. Let's see. This one want to work.
So he did some changes.
No,
in the background of that picture, some girls in a bikini also. Look at that. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, this is Schock and his last wife right here. It's coming off of that. That's not the wife I'm going to throw about, but him. This is how he used to look. See how he's losing my green screen. Oh.
Yeah.
That's how he used to look. You notice that?
You lost a lot of weight, you said? Yeah.
Look at him. That's him. And look at his. I'll put a picture of his face up now in a second. But that's him then. And let's get another one. Let's do before and after. And then this is him now. Let's see. Shock it. What's his face? Here we go. Here's a good picture of him. HALES. Let's shock it. Yeah. That's use another one.
He looks so conservative there.
He looks conservative. He looks like he was a family man, dad. He was, really, he basically abandoned his kids.
Oh my God.
Total shit brick.
Yeah.
And here's him now. He grew his beard out. He looks like,
Oh my God.
looks like he lost about 40, 50 pounds. And he's not young. The guy's like in his late 50s, early 60s. So the guy has to be doing some type of hormonal treatment at this point to do what he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Same person. He looks totally different.
Totally different person. This is him now. We'll put on the other one again. And this is him before.
Wow.
Totally different.
And he just left his wife and family for that looks like a man.
Oh God, she looks like a leathery sea hag, leather skinned sea hag. That's what she looks like. Remember Popeye had the sea hag, lived on the Salt Island? That's what she looks like. She looks like the sea hag.
That's awful.
Marlo said toupee.
Toupee. Yeah. Wow.
No, he's just.
But the girl in the middle is his girlfriend that he left his wife for. She looks like a drag queen.
Yeah, and then we have him, the shock. That's him too. That's another picture of him now. See, and so that's her with the big hair, and I guess he's giving us a class about how to avoid dental billing fraud because he got kicked out of being a dentist in Missouri for dental billing fraud. He was billing fraudulent procedures. He said he was doing procedures. He never did them. And he got kicked out as a dentist. He got suspended. And while he's suspended, he's still doing procedures. He's practicing without a license. So they took away his whole license in Missouri. And so what does he do? He goes to law school to become a lawyer. And he goes to apply to become a lawyer in Arkansas, right? So he goes to Arkansas. The Arkansas Supreme Court says, no. There's no way in hell we're going to let you in Arkansas. So he hangs out a couple of years, reapplies in Florida, and they let him right in, which is crazy.
Unbelievable.
Pebs say Germ paid for all that surgery or whatever it is.
Yeah. So Rich, tell us about your latest motion. I'll share it, or tell us about what's going on because we brought you on. You said there was some new filings. Hold on, I'll pull up one of them. Hold on.
Yeah, pull up the Jeremy Hales filing from this week because they've been talking all about it. How Jeremy's going for sanctions and everything else.
Let me make this bigger. Okay. All right.
So everybody knows that I've entered the case, the Fed 2 case, and I am a defendant that's specially appearing. And for people who don't know what that means, I'm making a limited jurisdictional appearance because I'm just challenging the fact that the court has not acquired jurisdiction over me. In order to get jurisdiction over somebody,
I heard a few other people saying that. Actually, one person saying that that you can't appear special or limited. I heard that the other day from Calamari Girl. I was laughing my ass off. He can't appear special, limited. I was like laughing my ass off.
It's from the Supreme Court. There's some Supreme Court cases that allows for what's called a special limited appearance.
Of course, we all know what that
happens all the time. For people who don't know the law, that aren't familiar with lawsuits, you can contest jurisdiction, but you have to make it clear, A, that you're contesting jurisdiction, and B, you don't ask the court for anything. Well, the second you start asking the court for relief, then you've consented to their jurisdiction. Most people don't realize that. So I'm telling the court, look, I'm coming in and I want to argue that I am not served. And unless I'm properly served with legal process, the court doesn't achieve jurisdiction. That is the jurisdiction achieving moment, as far as lawsuits are concerned, is when the other party gets served with papers. And so that's when the party is actually given legal due process notice that they have to respond to the lawsuit. Prior to that, even if the lawsuit has been filed and they have knowledge that the lawsuit was filed, until it gets served on them by a process server legally, then there's no jurisdiction of the court. The court can't hear the case because the defendant's not before the court. And my whole argument, and you went through it last week, Leslie, was that they never served me properly. Therefore, there's no jurisdiction. Therefore, the case should be dismissed against me. So,
and it was a great motion, by the way, Rich. If you guys haven't watched my Legally Leslie show where I go through the gist of it. You guys got to watch it because Rich gave a strong motion. I have no doubt, that it's going to be granted, but Rich, what, without going through this whole motion, what is the gist of it to tell everybody? Like, what is he trying to say?
The gist of the motion is he's trying to argue that he went and he tried to serve me with papers at all these different addresses. Tried to serve me at 2 Naples addresses. He tried to serve my father. That's the money. That's the big part. Go back up to that little box that they had with the 2404.
Yeah.
He's trying to argue that he paid all this money to all these different people, right? These service people, this investigator, everything else, and that they didn't what they did was they tried to send me a waiver under the Rule 4 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Rule 4 is the rule that talks all about serving people. And under Rule 4M, there's a part of the rule that says, hey, look, if you can send the party a mailing and tell them consent to service so that you don't have to incur the cost of hiring a process server to come get them, and the person doesn't, take you up on that deal, you can charge them for the cost of the process server. And so in order to do that, there's 2 very, very important rules that have to happen. One, you have to send the mailing to the proper address, right? It's very, very basic. If you're going to send somebody a waiver of service by U.S. mail, they're going to be able, you have to show that it was sent to the proper address. Number 2, you actually have to serve the person with legal process after that. Actually have the process server hit them or serve them legally. In this case, they've done neither. First and foremost, if you read the second amended complaint, which is what they call in law the operative pleading in this case. So they started with a first complaint, then they did an amended complaint, they did a first amended complaint, now they do a second amended complaint. In the operative pleading, but in all other pleadings as well, but in the operative pleading, Richard Luthmann is said to be a resident of the state of New York. They still think I live on Staten Island. I haven't lived on Staten Island in a decade, but they have me in that pleading as a guy who lives in New York. So number 1, they're claiming they sent my waiver of service to someplace in the state of Florida. Well, number 1, they're shit out of luck, because how can you have an operative pleading that says the guy lives in New York and you're sending a waiver of service into Florida? Number 1. Number 2, they say that they tried to serve me at a certain address with the with the waiver of service. And you see right there, Eugene Griffin, G-Man Private Investigation Process Server. They're saying that they paid Eugene Griffin to go out there, $610, to figure out where Richard Luthmann was, to do PI services, to locate Richard Luthmann. Well, they should get their money back from Eugene Griffin, because my address, and you'll see it in my motion, is clearly known. I'm known to be a Florida resident because I filed a declaration of domicile in 2022. That means I went down to the county clerk in Collier County and I filed a piece of paper that says I'm now a resident of the state of Florida. I used to be a resident of the state of New York. I'm a resident of the state of Florida. Now, that has one address on there from several years ago. I have moved subsequently, and that move is reflected on my new address. My new address is reflected in a federal court filing that I filed in April of 2025, 1 week before they amended the pleading to put me in. So my address was known then, but it's also known in Florida to the Secretary of State, because under the Secretary of State, I am the registered agent for a couple of corporations in Florida, and that address was on there since February of 2025. So they had Eugene Griffin, the private investigator, go out there, and Randy Shockett, who's a federal attorney and a Florida attorney. And he's trying to argue to the court right now with a straight face that it's unreasonable to expect a federal attorney to check the federal filing system called PACER for my address. And he's trying to argue that with a straight face that it's unreasonable for a Florida attorney not to look on the Secretary of State Division of Corporations for the address of an individual. And this was an address the whole time.
Stuff I do all the time.
That's standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, right? You have to go serve people. So what do? You look up data. Well, first thing you go on Google, then you'll check all the different places. If it's federal court, you go check Pacer, if they have a Pacer. If they've done any filings in the past, you'll pull all the filings they've ever done in Florida State, in the federal court, and it'll have the address on the filings. So you can go off the address on the filings. And frankly, that's sometimes the best thing that you can have. If you have a case from 6 months ago and you're trying to get a defendant, and the defendant's address is on the pleadings in a filed case, what's the court going to say at that point? It's like, Judge, they signed this paper and they said this is their address 6 months ago. I served them at this address. It's like
all these channels, these crazy non-lawyer channels are saying that, well, you knew about the lawsuit and you should have, that means you've been served. What could you say about that? What did the judge say on that?
Well, there's a very, very clear precedent from the 11th Circuit, which is the Federal Court of Appeals that governs Florida. It's actually out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's Florida, Georgia, I think Alabama. And what happens is actual notice alone is not enough. And if that's that, you have to actually be served by one of the ways the Rule 4 says you can be served. Sure. And you also have to be served under Rule 4 with the ways that the court has determined you should be served. And so when you pull up my motion, you'll see in there, one of the big things in there is that the magistrate judge, Zachary Belitho, they had asked prior to serve me by email. They asked before to serve also Super Dave. They asked to serve him by email. The judge made it very, very clear that there's no email service.
The judge in this case made it clear.
In this case, that's what's called the law of the case. So not only is it Rule 4, the Rules of Civil Procedure, but it's the law of the case that there's no email service. So even if I had actual knowledge that they could show they emailed me something, that's still not valid for service under Rule 4 of the proceeding. So that doesn't matter whether I have knowledge of this or not. That's the point.
So Rich, someone asked, why are they asking $2,450 or
on that thing? They added up all the different things that they claim that they did. They tried to pay. They paid 2 process servers. They paid a third process server up in Jacksonville, up in Nocatee. That's where my dad lives. They served him or served his wife at an address I've never lived at, and they tried to claim that was valid service back in April or actually in August. Then after that happened and the service expired, you have 90 days to serve under the federal system. And after the time that they put in to serve me expired, they tried to do this mailing. They tried to do all this other stuff. They're trying to nickel and dime me for everything that they've done, including paying G-Man, the stupid process server with the blue tape. That's the whole Robbie thing. This guy's a total liar. He actually perjured himself at least 7 times in his affidavits. He swore, and when you do an affidavit or a declaration in federal court, you have to swear to personal knowledge. You can't do an affidavit or a declaration of something that's not personal knowledge. You can't make a hearsay. That's what hearsay is. Like, so-and-so said something, and you can't swear that, that's hearsay. And you can't swear to things you didn't, totally observe with your own eyes and things that, that weren't done in front of you. This guy, Eugene Griffin, is based out of the Orlando area, and he swore about service that was effectuated in New York City. So he filed the declaration himself claiming that service was effectuated in New York City at my former address. The process server that should have done that was the one in New York that walked the process up. He's not testifying from personal knowledge. So he gave a worthless affidavit. On top of that, he said things that were not true. He claimed that I called his office. He claimed that I threatened him. He claimed this, he claimed that. Actually, somebody else called him. A journalist named Joey Camp called him up. And he just assumed it was me. So it's like the guy he's either the sloppiest process server in human history, or he's just lying. And after the whole Robbie thing, to me, he looks like a liar. That's what it comes down to.
Hey, Tricky G. Sorry, I just had to say that. No, it's ridiculous that here they are. They're not even effectuating service properly. And now they're going after you for fees. I mean,
it's out of control. But you know what this is? It's Palomop, right?
Yeah.
Protraction of litigation and multiplication of proceedings. And all that did was, all this past week is what happened. What happened on Tug and Megan? What happened on Mr. Coop? What happened with Jay Jip? What happened to all these people was that they talked about, Jeremy Hill's going to get sanctions against Luthmann. He's going to get this, and Luthmann's going to have to pay him, and blah, 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 blah. So that they had a whole week worth of content based on that. They had
some content now too. We're giving them some content to keep it away from you too.
Yeah,
they're having a field day with us right now, Rich.
I know they're so stupid though. They have nothing. They're just the stupidest people. They really are. And the audience too. The audience is like, there are some people I feel bad for because they're probably just believing what Jeremy and his whole echo chamber say at face value. And that's really, really wrong, because Jeremy was trained as a preacher. He was trained as a minister. And part of being a minister is you cultivate the trust of your congregation. And he's used all of those rhetorical skills and that training for dark purposes. He's peddling fraud, and he's akin to a cult leader at this point. And when you have cult leaders, I know cult leaders. I've met Keith Raniere, okay, for Nexium. He was branding women on their vaginas. I know the type of crazy things that people who have cult followings and can cultivate the cults, that what they can do. And that's what he's done. His entire group that follows him, the hardcore, it's a cult following. And it's sad and scary, because as he starts to get more and more pushed into the corner and is back against the wall legally, where he's going to be losing his cases, and the veil is going to be lifted. He's going to, the emperor is going to have no clothes. The Wizard of Oz, the curtain is going to be pulled back.
Yep.
And he's going to become more and more desperate, because some of the people in his cult will start to realize, no, maybe Jeremy doesn't have all the right answers here. And that's the most dangerous thing for a cult leader. And so it's going to get very, very scary for him coming up. So
when they start realizing that all of his words were bullshit. What I suspect he's going to do is he's going to deviate, and he's going to try just not to talk about it anymore and find new victims to target, so they don't hold him accountable for all the bullshit that he said previously. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's try to just brush it under so they don't talk about it, and then he's going to find someone new to target.
And that's probably what's going to happen to a certain extent. It's media, though, because remember, I filed that motion that you covered. They didn't cover my motion on their channels. They didn't cover my motion on Jeremy Hales. They didn't cover it on Tug.
Of course not.
And frankly, it was a perfect thing if they were being fair and balanced and honest about what they were covering. That was 25 pages of stuff they could read. That's what Megan is great at that. She has some breadsticks, and then she reads the legal paper, and she has some more breadsticks.
Bullshit. I'm not going to read this bullshit.
Yeah, she said she's not going to read this bullshit.
Yeah, and yet she's the one who turns around and says you can't comment on a case until you've read all the documents. I have her saying that in writing. You cannot comment on a case until you've read all the documents.
Not when it comes to Jeremy Hales.
Yeah, so he's an idiot. So
yeah,
that's what I'm going with that, And so I put in a nice big response to that, and that's going to get to the courthouse this week. I figure it'll get there like Wednesday or so. They'll probably docket it by then. I don't go crazy with these people. It's like I send it up there. It's nice. I'd love to take a ride up to Gainesville and have like an oral argument on this stuff. That's what I would really love. I'd like to get over to this courtroom and then just what I really love is if they gave me a hearing. I would love for Judge Bolitho or even the Article 3 Judge Hinkle to give me a hearing where they can bring everybody in, and then I can cross-examine them, because they have the burden to prove service. They have the burden to be the proponents of what they said, and I get to cross-examine. I used to cross-examine them, and when I get to cross-examine them, I can catch them in perjury. And if I catch them in perjury in federal court, that becomes a federal crime. And if you perjure yourself in federal court, if you get any crime in federal court, it's Star Wars numbers they throw at you. You're going to have to do potentially prison time, even if it's 60 days or 4 months or whatever. They throw people in jail for that. We saw that with the contempt charges with Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro. They had contempt of Congress, and they still have to go to jail for 60 days or 3 months or whatever. If you catch somebody in perjury in federal court, it's a big deal. You think that people, they're going to get a slap. No, there's no slap on the wrist in federal court. So it's a
Well,
little crazy.
I highlighted this comment because we were talking about this earlier. I guess, Megan always asks for breadsticks for her daughter's tuition, but doesn't she live in New York? And didn't you say New York?
Yeah, New York has free college for state colleges, don't they?
Well, it's not free college. They have CUNY and SUNY. So if you're in the city of New York, you have the city university. SUNY is the state university.
Those are the
And the
best
state
colleges. Those are the best
Well,
colleges in New York. SUNY's
Oh,
huge.
the state university system, but it's a reduced tuition. It's not a lot of money. It's like subsidized. So you got to come
I
up with
think
something.
if you make under 100,000, it's free,
Yeah, but I think her and her husband make some money. That's the thing.
and
I
they
don't
don't
think
need breadsticks.
They
I
don't
guess.
need breadsticks.
well, that's why they make all the money because they got all the breadsticks. That's what it is.
Breadsticks.
Yeah, but Megan's trash though. This is the perfect.
Here's something for you. Just watch this really fast, Rich. I know you've probably seen it, but watch it again. It's funny.
Hey, you like the bread, little birdie? You like the bread?
I fucking love this bread.
Looks like she'll put anything in her mouth.
Oh my God! Look at Rich's pictures in the back. Rich, you cracked me up. Oh my God!
Is that Sesame Street?
That's Sesame Street. He's got
Yes,
going
it's Megan the trashy Megan, and Oscar the Grouch. She lives in a trash can next to Oscar the Grouch. Well,
oh
she's
my
trash.
God!
It's a shame too. She used to be a journalist. Now she's just trash. Really, it's terrible.
She doesn't. It's like journalists. You investigate and do research from both ends, and it's like she is reporting on all this stuff, and she only investigates one side. So she's I don't even know.
She's a hack. That's what you call her a hack. She's a media hack for Jeremy Hales, and it is what it is. It really.
Yeah. So, Rich, have you seen our cooking show?
I know it's pretty funny actually. You got a good, very entertaining show.
Look at that picture
We
behind
fight
us.
a little bit in there.
We fight a little bit, but it is what it is, right, Michael? Yeah. We've been having fun, Rich, trying to bring some fun back into this whole HALES saga, because they've just crucified me as usual. They wouldn't let me go. You remember when I disappeared and they ruined my job.
Well, they were wrong for doing what they did to you and really interfering in a harmful way with your employment and everything else. So that's just it's disgusting what they did to you.
Yeah, it was really horrible.
They're very not nice people because this shows a pattern of behavior on Jeremy Hales, that and what he did to Ray Bone Crusher with his wife who died. It's a man that doesn't have any compassion. And he comes around and he talks like he's a preacher, but he's not. He's an evil person. He's a small person too. So it's small in many different ways, but he's a very small person.
You heard about the mushroom.
Oh yeah. Oh God. That's scary.
I saw your short that you did on that. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah. It's like he's a bigger scumbag than Anthony Weiner. He really is.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was so funny because they did a deposition of Epstein, and in the deposition they were talking about the girls said his package looked like an egg.
Oh man.
And I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, it sounds like someone else we know. No, but do you remember the Epstein deposition? They were not a deposition, but they were doing something. They said, oh yeah, does your package look like an egg? Do you remember that?
Oh my God, yeah, you gotta.
And we were laughing. We were laughing because they were like, he's such a narcissist. This really got under his skin when someone talked about his package looking like an egg and they described it. And I was laughing because I was like, oh my God, it sounds like someone else we know. That's
funny. But yeah, you have my motion queued up. We'll go through that.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let's have a little fun with that. We'll show because that has all the evidence in it too. We're revealing it for the first time here on Leslie's show, so this will be fun.
All right, hold on. Opposition.
There's Lisa. He's the Dickle King.
The Dickle King. I love the Dickle thing. That's freaking hilarious. All right, tell me where you want me to go with this, Rich. I'll
Read
scroll.
read the beginning, just the first page or two. It summarizes the whole thing, and then I can go down and we can go to specific areas. But just
Yeah. So
read
you
the
want to
first
read it?
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, read it. Start reading then.
Okay, I'll read it. Defendant Rich A. Luthmann Jr., I love how you put this, a non-lawyered, unskilled in the science of law, and without the requisite capacity to be deemed learned in the law, appearing pro se, especially for the limited purpose of contesting personal jurisdiction, hereby opposes plaintiff's motion for fees and costs under Rule 4D of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. In support of this motion, defendant states the following.
Now, before I get into that, that's a lot of different words I put in there, but I'll break it down very, very simply.
Okay.
The phrase learned in the law means someone that has a law license, right? So you could be a lawyer for 50 years, and if you lose your law license, you are no longer, quote, learned in the law as a matter of law. So F. Lee Bailey, right? He got disbarred at the end of his career, right? He was no longer learned in the law. So I'm just like F. Lee Bailey. I'm not learned in the law. Right, I'm not skilled in the science of law. I am not learned in the law. So I can legally say that. That's the legal truth. So,
Yes. So it says, defendant Rich A. Luthmann Jr. hereby opposes plaintiff's motion for expenses incurred in making service and attorney fees pursuant to Rule 4D. Then you cite that filing. Plaintiff's motion is legally and factually baseless. As demonstrated below, plaintiffs never properly served defendant with process as required by Rule 4. Their purported Rule 4D waiver request was invalid and misdirected, never reaching defendant's actual address as confirmed by the USPS return to sender marking attached as Exhibit 1 to plaintiff's moving papers.
that's how stupid that's how stupid he is. In his moving papers, he's got one exhibit, right? He's got an envelope sent to an address that's marked return to sender. That's all that I need to prove that I win. It's a return to sender. He proves that it never got to where it was supposed to go. Part of it, you have to show a completed mailing. He's showing in his own moving papers the mailing was incomplete. I already win.
Yeah, right there. So it just says, moreover, this court has already ruled that plaintiff's earlier attempted email service was improper and that the service was not effectuated under Rule 4. Plaintiffs then engaged in procedural gamesmanship instead of good faith efforts at service, ultimately obtaining a clerk's default through dubious means. Filing the present fee shifting motion under these circumstances lacks any legal foundation. Indeed, plaintiff's counsel was explicitly warned both by the court and by defendant that such a motion had no merit, yet he filed it regardless. Defendant Luthmann has repeatedly attempted in good faith to resolve this matter in the instant motion without court intervention, including through detailed written correspondence and the local Rule 7.1b meet and confer process. Defendant, February 3rd, 2026, meet and confer response attached as Exhibit A, expressly explaining the lack of any legal or factual basis for Rule 4D fees.
So explain that they were supposed to have a meeting
and confer.
And we did. And it's part of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Leslie, you said this last week.
Yeah.
Remember you said last week, it's like one thing that judges hate to see is when one side tries to resolve the case, resolve the issues, make it so there's no motion for the court, and the other side just ignores them totally. The judge gets pissed when that happens.
Exactly.
That's what we have here.
Exactly. And then it just says plaintiff and their counsel nevertheless proceeded, notwithstanding this court's prior rulings confirming defective service and improper methods of notice. This pattern demonstrates an improper purpose within the meaning of federal Rule of Procedure 11B1, namely to multiply proceedings and consume judicial resources to generate controversy for the plaintiff's social media-based monetization enterprise by ginning up frivolous disputes designed to drive views, clicks, and revenue rather than to resolve any legitimate legal issue.
So that's basically saying he's doing it.
He's doing this for views. He's not
That's
doing
what you're
this for
claiming.
legitimate, you know what I mean? Legitimate
You're claiming he's doing this for views.
for content.
Yeah.
For content. Accordingly, not only should the motion be denied in its entirety, but the court should also sanction plaintiffs and plaintiffs' counsel for the abusive process. For these reasons, as explained herein, defendant respectfully requests that the court deny plaintiff rule for D motion in full and impose appropriate sanctions on plaintiff and plaintiff's counsel Randy Shockett, Esquire, under Rule 11 in the court's inherent authority.
Yeah, so that basically sums it up in a nutshell what this is about. And,
Yeah.
and I go through a detailed way in there about how he didn't do it. You know, and the biggest thing is that it talks about it, the meet and confer. I sent him a detailed email before he filed and gave him 7 ways. He was dead 6 ways to Sunday in filing the motion. I said, don't file it because you're wrong here, 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 and here. And he still filed the motion. And that's now an exhibit to my papers, and the judge is going to see that. The judge is also going to see that clearly my address is well known on PACER, which is the court system. My address is well known to the Florida Department of State, right? So, you know, my address was given to them. I gave them my address. I said, "You want to serve me? Come serve me," and they didn't do it. They're terrible people. They really are just, you know, they're creating power mob. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's
And you don't have to listen to your client. Your client's telling you to do something. You don't have
to listen to them. You know what I mean? Like Shockett could have his own, you know what I mean? He could put a stop to a lot of this and chooses not to.
Well, our attorneys are required to exercise independent professional judgment. That's the big standard. That's the phrase. And one of the big things that we talk about in this motion and the other motion is the case called Trump versus Clinton. Donald Trump sued Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee and others. And some of the claims in the lawsuit that they filed in the Tampa division of the federal court, the Middle District of Florida, which is a Florida federal court, some of the claims were correct or could have been true on the day that they filed the motion, but they clearly were debunked or were not true as the time progressed. And that's the same situation we have here with Randy Shockett. You know, he filed this case and said that Rich Luthmann is a resident of New York, but he clearly knows that I'm not a resident of New York, that I'm a resident of Florida, yet he's failed to amend, he's failed to correct, he's failed. That's just one thing.
Yeah, I saw that in your motion where, you know, they have a duty, you know, as they learn new information, they have a duty to keep up with that, you know? I saw that in your motion.
And that's a big.
Oh, that could be like you said, Clinton and was it Trump? You have this high profile client and they're telling them do this, and they do it.
That's right.
That, like somebody like a famous YouTuber telling them, hey, do this. And maybe that's the situation. He's listening and he shouldn't have listened. Possibly.
Somebody wanted to know if this was a dickle.
No, this is a pickle.
That's Mr. Pickle.
Mr. Pickle.
That's Mr. Pickle. And normally he dances everybody, but his batteries have run out.
Yeah, and he has no eyes anymore. Dog shoot it.
Yeah, but he used to have eyes. He used to go, doo, 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 doo. I call him Mr. Pickle. Oh, goodness gracious. But Rich, I think you're going to prevail in everything that you have been filing. You know, but of course they're not going to want to cover that. No,
and the case is going to go away. I think that the case
is definitely going to go away. And the case, there's case law now, Nevada. There's case law everywhere. This stuff is complete. Like you said, anti-slap. Even if it doesn't go through the anti-slap, you still will win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even get to the substantive part of this case. The only motions I filed to this point are procedural.
Yeah.
So, and I said that in there. I kind of outlined what the problems were substantively, but I asked the court to give me leave if they find that there's jurisdiction, which I don't know how they could. They give me leave to argue on the substantive claims, and I'm going to file if they say that there is jurisdiction. Probably 2 or 3 motions. One will be the substantive motion to dismiss. Also, before that, will probably be a motion for a more definite statement because I don't know what I'm trying to respond to in this complaint.
Yeah.
But also to the extent that the Florida Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act is stated. There's a bond requirement if you do that. So I'm going to ask for a bond, and ask him to post a bond for what he thinks, and a more definite statement as to the damages, because the bond is based upon the alleged damages. That's how much he has to put up. And then also, I'm going to ask for an anti-slap. So anti-slap, has to be dismissed on those terms. And under the Florida anti-slap, that has to be heard right away. That's the first thing that has to be heard. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's only going to get more fun after this. And then if those things, if I win on those things, somehow the case is still alive, then I'm going to answer and I'm going to counterclaim. And in federal court, the third party practice is your counterclaim. So when I counterclaim, I'm just going to add in Megan and Tug and J Hip and Coop and I'm going to add like 20 different defendants.
Hip Horseface? Why
Hip Horseface?
Why him? I don't hear him. I guess this stuff.
Hip Horseface. Yeah. I told you he got mad. He reported my hodunk of him as a horse, and I got a strike on that for the hodunk horse, Hip Horseface. It really bothers him to call him Horseface.
I remember the time you had a conversation with him, and he was talking to you seriously. He was talking to you seriously, and he was like, "No, you're picking the wrong side. You need to represent the HALES because you make lots more money with
That's what he told me.
There's lots more money on that side. You're picking the wrong side.
Because you're not going to get any views. You're not going to get any subscriptions if you don't represent the HALES. He's like, you'll just sit at a couple thousand subscriptions. This is what he tried to tell me. I was like, I'm not in this for subscriptions, you idiot. Oh God, I'm telling you.
He was serious.
He was totally serious.
Yeah, he was telling you
totally serious.
Go that way so you can make a lot more money.
Yeah.
This is what it's about.
It's all about
that's going to be the point. That's going to be the point. Even if I can't recover from the entire system, if we end up having to do an answer and counterclaim, they're still going to have to hire lawyers. They're going to have to defend. They're going to have to go through the costs and the time that we've gone through. So that's what we're going to have to do.
Exactly. Well, anyways, we usually end about now because Lisa goes on in 30 minutes. So we usually come on for like an hour, on Saturdays.
I want to thank
but thank you, Rich.
Fans.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for subscribing to us.
Yeah.
So much.
We appreciate it, guys, like a lot. The channel's growing and we're excited, to share new recipes with you every week. I didn't do my wig show this week, guys. I'm sorry. I was like, I wasn't feeling well this week, but I will get my wig show next week. For you ladies, I'm wearing a new wig tonight. It looks very real too. And it's real hair, but sorry. I love my wigs. Rich, I love my wigs. I don't know if you know this. But I'm never the same person. Michael can never be bored, right? Never,
I like your real hair too.
He likes my real hair, which is dark, but like this is kind of cool for like some highlights and stuff. And it's
interesting. It's you never know.
He never knows. You never know. You never know what I'm going to end up wearing. It keeps marriage spicy, right?
Thank you, Rich, for coming on.
But
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank everybody. And we will see you on this coming Wednesday with a new recipe. And then hopefully I'll get my wig show this week for you ladies so you can see how to do some cool things to make your hair thicker. All right, everybody, we love you, and we'll see you next week. And go watch Lisa. All right, bye-bye, guys.